Hello, we are pleased to introduce you to the Halle Numérique. We will start this webinar. The Halle Numérique is a research and education platform developed by COSTECH Laboratory at Université de Technologie de Compiègne. And this presentation is part of the ERASMUS RIALHE project, and it will be conducted alongside with Claude Moulin.
Hello, everybody. I'm Claude Moulin. I'm a professor emeritus at the UTC in computer science.
So my name is Thierry Gidel, and I'm the scientific director of this platform, the Halle Numérique. In this platform, we explore how digital tools could impact our way of collaborating, our way of learning. And we are located in Compiègne, 70 kilometers from Paris, in the second floor of the Innovation Center in UTC. I remember learning industrial drawing on drafting tables using rotring pens on tracing paper. And when we transition to from the traditional drafting table to computer-aided design software, many professors worried that students would not be able to draw anymore. They worried that the student would lose their drawing skills. Indeed, the way we draw and teach industrial design today has changed significantly. And this is our research topic. At the COSTECH laboratory, we study how technology, and particularly digital tools, influences our design processes, our work methods, our cognitive patterns, both individually and collectively. This webinar aims to introduce the Halle Numérique and our research on the digital tools. These initiatives support the Erasmus RIALHE project goals, which include enhancing the research learning by providing access to research experiments through digital tools. The student who will participate in this project will participate in the preparatory work session for this research experiment, and they will participate to the experiment itself and in the post-experiment analysis. And therefore, they will be able to improve the educational offering with regard to how to learn how to do research. During this webinar, if you have any question, feel free to ask in the chat. We will also allocate some time for question after each section. So let's start with an overview of the Halle Numérique platform. The Halle Numérique consists of 6 meeting rooms. Each meeting room is equipped with a large multi-user and multi-touch table and a large multi-touch and multi-user board. This could accommodate a group of 6 people. The device, developed through various research projects at UTC, facilitate the collaborative design process for engineering students. Additionally, we also use tablets, smartphone, video conferencing system, and even teleconferencing robots to improve the collaboration experience. In conjunction with this hardware, we also developed software through a spin-off company based on our research. This startup is called YubiKey. This software equips each interactive surfaces and enable a seamless data exchange between the table and the board. We might also use this software to support simultaneous interaction, allowing multiple users to collaborate effectively by externalizing their idea, writing post-it notes, drawing, sketching, searching the web, creating various diagrams like mind maps, flowcharts. Our environment supports both individual work and collaborative activities. For instance, as you can see, the user can take notes simultaneously on digital keyboard, allowing individual reflection, together with exchange between people based on their production. I have to insist on the fact that making the transition from a personal computer to a shared display is a real paradigm shift. To understand this shift, it is necessary to go back to the origin of our research question. Historically, oral communication predominates until the invention of writing. Writing is a key technology which allows capitalizing, sharing, and diffusing knowledge. French philosopher Michel Serres noted that writing transferred the knowledge from the body, the brain, to the page. Following this, Gutenberg printing press in the 15th century enabled widespread dissemination of knowledge, and this was even amplified by internet. However, today, our communication often remains limited to pages. Whether on paper, computer screen, smartphone, tablets, these tools have, of course, facilitated information growth, but also they have isolated our interaction, making face-to-face collaboration challenging. Screen became a screen between people. It is not easy to collaborate when looking at a screen. Researchers like Thierry or Melanie Brooks in Colombia have studied the impact of digital tools on communication. Their work highlights how these tools affect our ability to interact and generate creative ideas. In summary, most existing tools today are primarily designed for individual use. The operating system that we use every day, like Windows, macOS, Android, are built for a single user. With this design, it is not possible to plug several mouses or several keyboards on a computer. This design inherently limits real-time collaborative interaction, making it very challenging to achieve simultaneous collaboration on this device. Transitioning from our personal screen, whether on computer, smartphone, or tablet, to shared interactive surfaces present significant challenges. This shift represents a fundamental change in how we approach digital interaction and collaboration. To address this challenge, we develop new technical solutions, both in hardware and software, along with new methodology for collaborative work. Our platform is designed to facilitate shared workspace, enabling multiple users to interact simultaneously on the same surface and collaboratively. This allows for a more dynamic and integrated approach to teamwork, supporting diverse needs of modern collaboration process. Our platform, horizontal display, encourages oral, face-to-face communication around a multi-touch screen that can be used to share intermediary objects. This surface is dedicated to fostering divergent thinking, creativity. Most information and ideas are generated on horizontal surface, either by using virtual keyboards, like you can see there, available for each user, or employing drawing utilities, freehand sketches, diagrams. Vertical display, on the other hand, facilitates convergent thinking. It aids in decision-making. It is dedicated to the sharing of ideas, sorting of ideas, organizing the different ideas. But our brain is not strictly divided into creative and analytical side. We use both lobes simultaneously, even if we have personal preferences. Digital device should support this duality to help produce new ideas and organize them effectively, with each process enhancing the other. Therefore, our system is designed to enable seamless transfer and reuse of information across different application and across different screens. To do that, we have built a tunnel system which allows bidirectional information transfer from one surface to another. This device can support various tools and methods for designing or solving problems, making collaborative work more efficient and integrated. In summary, our platform horizontal display promotes oral communication, creativity, while vertical display aids in decision-making, idea organization, convergence. These surfaces support both creative and analytical function of our brain, facilitating the production and organization of ideas. Our research aims to understand what is at stake when collaboration takes place in this kind of digital environment. If you are interested, we might come back to explain what we have discovered regarding those cognitive abilities. To better understand the dynamic of collaborative meetings, we base our research protocol on experiment. We carry out detailed observation. To achieve that, we record all participant activities during an audio-video capture system. This system combines footage from 4 different cameras. Additionally, we have developed a system to collect digital footprints of user interaction. Each action, such as creating a post-it, modifying a post-it, transferring a post-it from one surface to another, is meticulously logged. The data collected from the different meetings is then coded using specific models. This allows us to monitor various metrics, including speech turn duration, gesture interaction, collaborative behaviors, and by analyzing these elements, we gain insight into the effectiveness and the nuances of collaborative work. Our achievements are the result of multidisciplinary team, including computer science, industrial engineering, mechanical science, human science, cognitive science, educational science. We welcome partnerships and data sharing for research purpose. Do not hesitate if you are interested to ask us. We will be pleased to build some research work together. One significant outcome of our research, one of the significant outcomes of our research is the development of the CIAO model. This model was created after extensive studies and analysis of 60 hours of video footage. And in our analysis, we realized that the traditional definition of collaboration was too broad. If we want to go into detail, we have to develop the concept of globally collaborative work, which integrates various modes of interaction observed during the collaborating session. These modes include individual work. So in individual work, participants engage in writing notes, generating new ideas, sketching, reading. They take time also to reflect on their work while they are typing. Then there is communication, where participants introduce their new ideas to other participants. They seek clarification. They present their individual work. Then we can also identify coordination. In coordination, participants align their methods of working, such as identifying new tasks, scheduling the task, and so on. Then there is cooperation, where participants negotiate and synchronize their individual work and ideas. It is like if you want to assemble different pieces of a puzzle. And then eventually we have collaboration, which might be seen as the culmination of these activities, where collective efforts leads to shared outcomes. When real collaboration takes place, it is not possible to distinguish individual work out of the shared production, because ideas have been reformulated, modified, completed. At the end, you've got a shared production. This CIAO model was employed to code work session, providing a structured way to understand and improve the collaboration process. Now, I will hand over to Claude for an explanation of some analyses based on this coding.
Okay, thank you, Thierry, for this presentation, this introduction. So, the next slide. Okay. So, one of the objectives of the research within the COSTECH laboratory is to make a recommendation on methodologies related to collaborative work, and also to clearly identify the mechanism involved in collaboration. The research example that I detail now is based on the CAO model just presented by Thierry, and which contains 5 modes of interaction rapidly. So individual work, communication, coordination, cooperation, and collaboration. So this research aims to identify patterns or sequences for the observed mode in the sense of the concept of Granger causality, which I will detail later, this concept. So the identification of sequences where one mode predominates seems more relevant to us than general statistics over an entire series, like, for example, what is a percentage of minutes dedicated to individual work. It could be interesting, but we are more focusing on a sequence of observation. The expanded concept of Granger causality makes it possible to identify whether a sequence of events temporarily precedes another sequence. It is not a notion of a strong correlation where an observation at time t1, for example, necessarily implies another observation at another time after t2, for example. Just to have an example, if it's rained for 2 hours, then we can say that the river level will increase by some centimeters. So the Granger causality is not a strong correlation. It's only a proposition of some preceding of sequence. We seek to know, for example, whether generally a sequence of a certain type precedes a sequence of another type. We had formulated 2 hypotheses, which we thought to confirm in this experiment. As an aside, I would say that we follow for this research the same approach that we recommend in the ERASMUS RIALHE project. Into this webinar is integrated. That means that we formulate some hypotheses, we make experiments, and then we have some conclusions, some results about the hypotheses that were formulated. So we think about 2 hypotheses. The first one suggests that the period of individual work precedes a period of communication, or rather in the sense that a period of communication is often or must be preceded by a period of individual work. This is the first hypothesis. The second one suggests that a period of communication generally precedes a period of cooperation or collaboration, but we saw that the latter 2 modes are very intertwined. So for the experiment, we involve 24 students divided into 5 groups of 3 or 5 people and distributed in 5 rooms. So the meetings took place at the Halle Numérique, where were recorded. The meeting were recorded using the video capture that was presented by Thierry, and we get a large amount of data representing. I wrote more than 4 hours, but it is more than 6 hours, really. The video were recorded and the video were annotated by different people. And this annotation makes possible to generate several Excel files, like the one in the picture. The people who annotated the video obviously followed some guideline, a precise guideline, but it is not the subject of this research. So the video were divided into period of 30 seconds. Yeah, you can observe on the first column. And we indicate for each period whether we observe one or more modes of interaction during each period. So you can see 1 when an observation is made, and 0 when there are no observation. It is an observation of a group, so we can have several values on the same line of the Excel file because we can observe different modes for the same period. You can see some lines where there are 2 or 3, 1 in the line. So now I come back a little bit to the grandeur hypothesis. So we analyze not the value themselves, because there is only 1, 0, so there is no big difference between these two values, but we accumulate the values for each column appearing in this file. And it is also more interesting for the curves that we have built, and I present them a little bit after. So the hypothesis of grandeur is indicated negatively. That's to say that for 2 series X and Y, lagged value of X do not explain the variation in the values of Y. It is assumed that the value of X does not cause, in the sense of grandeur, the values of Y. So we use the negation of this hypothesis because it is we prefer positive and more interesting results. So the negation of this hypothesis is a time series Y, X, for example, that grandeur cause a time series Y. So I will explain a little bit how we can observe the result of this, how this hypothesis is transformed into a matrix. So we have the, in this picture, we have the 5 columns corresponding to the 5 modes of interaction, and we get the accumulated value for each column. So we use the Granger's facilities. That means a Python library for analyzing with the algorithm used for getting the results of the about the Granger hypothesis. So we build some matrices like the one on the picture, and this matrix is used to indicate the level of dependence of each series considered as the first series. They are marked in the first row with an X. So this is considered as if this series is preceding other series marked with a Y. So obviously, a series cannot precede itself. So the matrix contains numbers between 0 and 1. A value equals to 0 or even very close to 0 indicates the negation of the Granger hypothesis. That means the possibility that one series precedes another series. We find here a value of 1 on the first diagonal, which clearly indicates that each series cannot precede itself. So here we can observe a 0 between the first series communication and the second series cooperation. The first series must be read on the first line, and the second series must be read on the first column. So with this value, allow us to think that the communication can precede cooperation. We see here another 0 number, and with this we can think that the individual work series precedes the communication series. We also observe other 0 value between cooperation and collaboration in both senses. Cooperation can precede collaboration, and collaboration can precede cooperation. That means that these two modes are very entwined. We also see this 0 corresponding that collaboration may precede cooperation. This is one example of matrix, and obviously we have made all the matrix for all the video we have registered, and we saw that the first 2 observations were repeated on each matrix, while communication and collaboration are very dependent on each other. So we also observe in this matrix 1/10,000 between communication and collaboration in the first row 4 cells. And this is very close to 0, so we accepted also this information. So to better understand the result from this matrix, so we have built the different curves corresponding to the modes, and we have put in the same picture 3 observations. Here, individual work, communication, and collaboration. And we can visualize the observation deduced from the matrix. Namely, it's the increase of a cumulative series occurs before the increase of another series. So, and in this case, we can conclude, we can observe that a series precedes the increase in another EC cumulated values. Do not confuse with the observation of the, it is not the value themselves we observe. It is indeed the period where the value increases. So we can see that for example, in the green curves is increasing before the blue curve and before the increasing of the red curves. Another example is for the link between coordination, communication, and collaboration. We can observe also on this Swiss curve the increasing that precedes other increasing. So we can have some result about this presentation. We built the matrix from Granger's hypothesis, and we could verify the hypothesis that are described in the first slide. So we can conclude that generally individual work precedes, that comes before a communication period. And also the communication precedes or comes before cooperation and collaborative work. Cooperation, I repeat, cooperation and collaborative work are two modalities very strongly intertwined.
Thank you very much, Claude. And I must say that those results at the same time were kind of logical, but also very surprising, because in some way it was counterintuitive. It's not obvious to state that a key aspect of collaboration is individual work, and the consequences of those research is that we have to rethink the design of the digital tools so that each individually can simultaneously input their ideas as soon as they have one. And in fact, the capacity of a digital tools to allow individual to externalize their thoughts is a key feature. And this was proved by this analysis that Claude showed us. And when we designed the Erasmus Plus Rialhe project, we had to make sure that the students participating in a research experiment were able to contribute to each step of the research process. As a matter of fact, we want that the students learn how to do research. And the way to learn how to do research is to do research. It's a performative process. This is why the student will first prepare the research experiment. They will identify the research question. They will formulate the research hypothesis. They will design the experiment they want to implement. Then, in a second step, they will realize the experiment itself, the research experiment, starting and this could be done directly on site, or they can assist to the experiment remotely and interact with the people who are doing the experiment. And then in the third and last step, they will analyze the results of the experiment, starting with the data preparation, challenging the research hypothesis, and drawing the conclusion and presentation of the results. So our results, our objectives are to help the students to learn how to do research and to better understand the research process. I hope